All right, let's talk about the three events that will likely cause the change and the dominant change on Bitcoin. Happy New Year, everybody. This is Gavin Mehl. I'm going back and reading this article by Daniel Krawisz called Hyperbitcoinization. And if he watches my channel, I would love to talk to him in person so he can really interpret this and go much deeper on it. But back in 2014, he wrote an article where he discussed what was called, what he created, and the concept of hyperbitcoinization. He kind of challenged it to the idea of hyperinflation and compared it to demonetization of the currency that's being used, currency, and a hyperinflationary event where Bitcoin becomes, the chosen true store of value over the other currencies. And it's a very highly technical and complicated subject, but what I wanted to bring up is these three events that we've got to be looking out for. COPA is one. The COPA trial coming up in February, where if Satoshi's identity is confirmed and the issuance rights are confirmed over Bitcoin, it's going to roll over to the passing off claim. And that passing off claim is the injunctive relief. And that injunctive relief could then order the guys, the defendants, and the other side, you got, all those list of defendants from no longer using Bitcoin, the way they're calling it, BTC, and injunctive, and an order would issue. So there is that is one possible way. The other possible way, which is, perhaps even sooner, this is something that is really important people to really get their head around, because if you look at the coin dance and what's most profitable as a miner, you're constantly checking what's most profitable to mine. You got to make your bottom line because, your cost of energy is so high that if it's more profitable to mine another chain, really miners are likely, most of them are really not too, I wouldn't say loyal to what they're doing. They're going to be loyal to the profit and the bottom line. It's just common sense. So in that case, where it was like 5% more profitable to mine BTC, 5%. So as that changes, as that goes on and changing, that's the other event. As it's more profitable to mine BSV than BTC, that's the other change that could potentially cause this hyper Bitcoinization flippening to happen. Now, the third factor, all right, that another dude on YouTube, I got to give a shout out to, I watched some of his videos and he really dove deep into this. I can't remember his channel. I'll see if I could find it, but he's really puts a good video out on it. Basically what he talked about and he analyzed was the BlackRock filing, the ETF filing. And the ETF filing itself, it says that BlackRock is to be determined which Bitcoin they will consider the actual dominant chain. They also mentioned the Satoshi case, identity case, COPA v. Wright. So if they determine, this is the third way, depending on what they determine, if they determine that, this, let's say Bitcoin Satoshi Vision is the dominant chain and they're going to purely invest in that, that's another possible, these are three possible factors, okay, that are all looming. It's like what do you call the pinnacle, the Holy Trinity. All these three, Holy Trinity factors are all happening. Now, the matter of when, how much longer do we have? No, we've probably got till April on the court case, I'd say, until they make a decision, maybe May. By the time we get to the London Blockchain Convention in May, would probably be realistically, I'm hoping that I'd like to interview the attorneys at that and discuss this with them, because if the ruling's out by then, if they're going to be an appeal, if that's going to hold things up, we don't know. That's one possible event. This profitability side on CoinDance, we really don't have any control over. That could happen next month, for all we know. It just depends. It just takes one whale. The crazy thing about it with BitcoinSv is, I wish I could verify this, but the claim is there's less than $5 million of available Bitcoin SV on the market. I could tell you right now, the miners aren't selling their Virgin BSV, not for the price that it is. Virgin BSV would probably go for, a lot more than that. When I mean Virgin BSV, I'm talking about the actual, when it's mined fresh blocks, the Gorilla Pool stuff. That's like, holds in the wallet that nobody moves that. It just sits there, and then one day there's a market for it. I know there's some guys in Australia that had to buy Virgin BSV for their industry. So there's a market for it, but I don't think the miners are dumping that off right now. And so the theory is there's like literally less than 5 or 6 million. I wish somebody could verify that and show me how they're able to tell that there's only $5 or $6 million in BSV on the market. I don't know. But that's not very much. That's a whale. That's not even a whale. That's a small size whale in buying. So it's just fragile, man. It's just a very fragile situation. It's delicate. And the way I'm seeing again, looking at it from a court case perspective, the worst case scenario from either side, the BTC side looks to be potentially catastrophic. And I'm in no way bad-mouthing BTC because, I really, I really don't want to do that. I don't believe in bad-mouthing people. I'm saying that the worst case scenario for them, it looks like it would be so bad, like I said, the chain could end. Okay, that's the court case side. The chain can't end from BSV, from the court case. It cannot end. And if the miners who are mining BSV, like Tal and Gorilla Pool, have already been mining it all this time to get the Virgin BSV without, with realizing that they're not mining the most profitable blockchain, well, that again, if it's still not the most profitable blockchain and that continues on, well, the miners will likely still doing what they're doing on BSV. So that's likely not going to change that aspect. And then the concept of BlackRock, well, it's already assumed that BlackRock's gonna choose BTC. I guess that's what everybody assumes. So, that's not going to affect. I can't see how that's going to make BSV go away if BlackRock does an ETF and it's BTC. So the downside on the other side, this BSV side, it just doesn't seem all that bad. My point is that in the future, when this hyper-Bitcoinization happens, things will be measured in what's called Satoshis. There's a 1 million, is it 1 million? No, 100 million Satoshis in one BitcoinSv. 100 million. So that's why I say, everybody should get one Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. Just get one. Forget about it. Just get one. This is advice. Get one. All right. Just keep it and forget about it. Keep it in a cold storage wallet. There's some great ways to do that. Simply Cash is a good one. They have on people who have iPhones, I think. But just get one and freaking forget about it. Unless you really want to get involved and contribute and build a business on it. But everybody should just have one, because in the future, 100 million Satoshis are going to be on there. And again, when this event eventually happens, according to the article which Daniel Krawisz wrote, I'm going to put it in the link here, this description. I should probably do a full-on read of the entire article for people to get their heads around it. When this event happened, it's one of these inevitable concepts. It's like gobbling up the other currencies. So when this event happens, things will be measured in Satoshis. Our question is how much time do we have? How much time do we have? This is Gavin Mehl. I'll put a hand crash link in the video below. I'm going to do some freaking interviews coming up. On Wednesday, I'm going to interview a gentleman I met on Twitter. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. And I am going to do CoinGeek, and I think it's the 9th. I'm going to do a studio in San Francisco, like a podcast studio. That's going to be on the horizon. So things are going to start happening, man. We're going to freaking get the word out there. Oh, I put a challenge to get an interview with Zem Gao. Be great to talk with him and get his perspective as an expert in patent law and potentially an expert witness in the Satoshi cases. So it'd be interesting to hear what his perspective, if we can get him on a video. And Daniel Krawisz, man, I would love to meet with him. Josh Hensley was the one that recommended him. I didn't even know who he was when I met Josh in London. And he's like, oh yeah, he told me about who he was, and I read the article at that time, and I was like, wow, I'd like to meet that guy at some point. So shout out to him. This is Gavin Mehl. Be sure to like the video, share the video. Let's get the message out there, and I will see you at the top.